Morning here on
Welcome to the AM News.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
The National Assembly is something that must be gotten right.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with the ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Welcome to Global Morning here on
Welcome to the AM News.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
the legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
The National Assembly is something that must be gotten right.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Well, thank you everyone for staying with us here on Global TV's Global Morning, live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Oyagmofwegwe. Of course, it's as usual a delight to be here to lead conversations with regards to very topical and germane issues. We understand that with regards to the coup in Niger, leaders of West Africa are now will be meeting tomorrow and on Friday in light of the fact that the junta itself now says it is ready to have a dialogue with ECOWAS and of course other related stakeholders. But basically ECOWAS, those who follow these developments have said that this is a step in the right direction. It's a pointer to the possibility of finding, if you like, a lasting peace, not only in Niger, but across the ECOWAS, the West African sub-region in itself. President Tinubu led ECOWAS, of course, just to mention again that President Tinubu, that's Nigeria's president, is also the chairman of ECOWAS, all right, has received so much of support within and outside of Africa with regards to not just the kind of leadership he has provided so far, but the manner in which he has also handled this very delicate situation on the ground. In Niger, reports are coming out from that country now saying that the sanctions slammed against the junta are already biting very hard on the citizens. Again, that's a pointer to the fact that every time two elephants fight, as they say metaphorically, it is the grass that suffers. So the citizens right there on the ground in Niger, starting from Niamey, the nation's capital, are already feeling the heat as it stands right now. But then it's for many people a matter of cause and effect, because if there hadn't been a coup in the first instance, we won't be sitting down here now discussing the sanctions that have been hit with. So that again is a reminder that the faster we find peace to the issue in the Niger Republic, the easier it will become for the country to return to one, democracy, and have its socio-economic lifestyle, as a life back on track. So we want to see that happen, particularly on the back of the meeting that has now been scheduled by ECOWAS for tomorrow, Thursday, and the next day, which is Friday. And back at home, we also have our issues here we're dealing with. The economy is in a bad shape. That's no brainer. Just 2 days ago, the acting governor of the CBN, Mr. Shonubi, had met with at the villa to discuss issues around fiscal and monetary policies, in particular focusing on the exchange rates, the foreign exchange markets, and how that speculators have done so much of damage to that segment of the economy. But then that in itself is a big conversation that we need to have, we should have by or means, and then you also have speculations around whether or not there'll be fuel subsidy. I mean, there will be increase in the pump price of petrol. The federal government has come out now to unequivocally say that there's no intention anywhere to increase the price of petroleum products. So as it stands, the federal government, we are told, is focused on providing palliatives for Nigerians. We're also seeing a couple of states across the country bring their widow's mite, if you like, to the table, all in a bid to minimize the pains that come with the removal of your subsidy. We need to bring you papers as well on the program this morning, but that will be right after.
From flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say?
Before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2.
Turn to the papers for you now. We'll begin with the Daily Sun this morning. Let's see what headlines we've got on the Daily Sun. Today, the big story there says fuel price taxes won't go up. FG says that on page 25. More trouble for Emefiele. FG files 20 fresh charges against suspended CBN governor. Seeks to withdraw illegal possession of firearms charge. Defense Arume Uche Uwosu Anka to lose houses. Terrorism, Katsina tops list of IDPs in Northwest. That's according to the United Nations. Government cries for help. Coup, lift sanctions on Niger. Northern elders tell Tinubu ECOWAS. International Igbo Confab begins tomorrow in UNN. Ohaneze, Iowa, others back events. Nigerians knock FG over clampdown on all eyes on the judiciary bill. Atiku, we won't be cowed, intimidated. Sponsors, just school shooting, newly married couple identified as victims on page 5 of the Daily Sun. That's a sad story coming out of the Plateau State. That's a state where, by the way, a state of emergency had been declared in an entire local government. That was sometime in July. The governor, talking about Caleb Mufwang, who assumed office on the 29th of May, like several other governors at that time, now realizes more than ever before that there's so much of work to be done in that state with regards to security, which means that whether it's technical, whether it's military,